Will the All Blacks miss out the World Cup? Yeah, there are few reasons why they actually might. Something you have to understand is New Zealand are religious about rugby in the same way that India are religious about cricket. And that's a beautiful thing, in my opinion. As a result of this, you can bank on that team going to the World Cup with the best possible preparation out of all of the teams. If you literally go through the whole squad, be it the ones that you consider to be the A team and the considered B team, you're going to struggle to find any weaknesses in that squad at all. Something that looks a little less flattering, though, is their record since the start of last year. Uh, they've actually not had the best of years, and the win ratio that usually hovers around the 90% mark has dropped quite a bit. In 2022, they had one of their worst years in a long time. They actually lost 4 games and they had the draw against England at the end of the year. If you look at all games played, they played 15 since the start of 2022, and their win record is just 67%. In recent times, the most recent games, they've actually started looking like themselves again, but there's still a lot of work to do. Firstly, they have an exceptionally difficult road to the final. They sit in Pool B with France, and that is going to be a tough matchup to start things off. They will get out of their group, and when they do, they will probably be facing either South Africa or Ireland. Both teams are actually ones that have been a bogey for them in previous years, so that might be an issue. When they get to the semis, depending on how things worked out for Pool C and D, they will be playing either against Australia, Argentina, or England. If they get past that hurdle, it comes back full circle to them either playing against South Africa, Ireland, or France, depending on how those teams progressed on their side of the bracket. So all in all, if everything doesn't go according to plan, once they hit the knockouts, they're gone, and there are quite a few teams that can trip them up. Second reason for that is that they are vulnerable when they can't attack. One thing that is very true, and I don't think there are many teams that are better than them. In fact, I don't think there are any. Is when teams attack against them, they are exceptionally good at playing a patient game and absorbing a lot of that pressure. When they absorb that pressure, they're brilliant in turning that around into attack. And when they turn that around into attack, they are deadly. And usually they put teams to bed. We saw that with the first of the Bledisloe Cup games, where Australia was looking pretty decent up till or just close to the 60th minute. And then uh, New Zealand just turned it around and they started absolutely mauling the poor Australians. What am I ever referring to where they are vulnerable if they can't attack? As if you stop them when they start doing those counter attacks. So if a team can quickly switch their mindset to defense from attack, uh, they will be able to actually stop the All Blacks behind the advantage line. If you stop them a few times behind the advantage line, they start getting a little frantic and things start really, really falling apart. And when they start falling apart, they're very vulnerable. And that is when teams can really score against them from broken play. The third one is probably the most puzzling one that I just don't understand. Why is Scott Robertson not the coach? Yes, he has been appointed to take over after this World Cup, but that is after this World Cup. Granted, I don't know the full pedigree of Ian Foster, and he hasn't done anything fundamentally wrong. He had a very bad run last year, but I don't understand how he got appointed ahead of Scott. With a nation like New Zealand, I'm sure that Foster's got a wonderful rugby pedigree, but if you look at Scott, it is just a whole different thing. Scott is like if you took Alex Ferguson when Man United were still dominating everything in the late 90s and early 2000s. If you take that Alex Ferguson and you actually tell whatever team he's going to go to, no, sorry, we're not going to take him. He's just not up to it. It doesn't make sense. In the same way, Scott Robertson over the past 10 years has probably won more trophies than any other in rugby with what he's done at the Crusaders. Now, the question is, will those things actually be enough to trip up the All Blacks? Only time will tell. They are, however, definitely not the perfect team that they were in 2015. Still, in my opinion, probably the best All Black team of all time. So let's wait and see.